Hello guys, it's Robin. Just carrying on with some more Arkham Origins. In the last video we started going after Firefly and defusing his bombs and shit like that. So we're going to be carrying on with this today. Well, not today, but for this video. Obviously all the videos have come out today anyway. Apologies if I sound tired. I had to make a very last minute trip to London last night. I didn't get to bed till like 6 o'clock in the morning, so I'm absolutely shattered, so apologies if I do sound like I'm droning and tired and crap like that. But yeah, so just carrying on with pursuing Firefly's bombs. I think we're doing under the bridge. So we've warned Gordon and he hasn't listened and stuff like that, so just going to carry on, get through the henchmen and stuff like that, and get the bombs disarmed. I actually forgot how much of a build-up there was to the Firefly boss fight. I thought the boss fight was in this video, but it's not. Like I say, I forgot how much of a build-up there was and how much you have to do before you actually go against Firefly, even though this is technically part of his mission. So we're just starting to get to the bombs now, so I think we get them. I think we get all of them done in this video. We might not, but we're just kind of going through and disarming the bridge and stuff like that, so we can actually go and find Firefly. But like I said, I forgot how much of a build-up there was to the actual boss fight at the end of the chapter. But after this video, there is one more that I've already pre-recorded, and then we'll be doing stuff, and I'll be talking live with the video playing at the same time. Not the video playing, but I'll be playing the game as I'm talking, kind of thing, so it makes it a bit better for me to be able to talk about things and stuff like that. But before we go on and do that, I'm going to get Metal Gear Solid done, because there's only 3 more videos and then the whole story is done. So after that, we'll be getting a couple more games. I'll be getting a couple of different more games. Obviously, finish The Wolf Among Us now until 6 weeks' time. That's done. So we're going to have to replace that with something which will probably be The Walking Dead, and then we'll have to replace Metal Gear Solid with something which I haven't really decided yet. I can't really do any DLC for this one, so obviously there's a couple of short games as DLC, but the only ones I've really got are the Cold Heart for this one, and stuff like Heavy Rain and stuff like that. So obviously without playing Heavy Rain I can't do the DLC, and without finishing this I can't do Cold Heart. So I'm not really decided on what I'm going to do after this, to be honest. I've just got a couple of new games on Xbox Live, like the free ones, and obviously we've got the free games that are coming out on PSN. So I might do one of them. I don't know. I haven't decided. I got quite a few choices that I can do. I might just do like a fun one, but like I say, I might do a horror. I don't know, but I'm not. I don't want it to be a game that's too long, because obviously we still need to get Batman done. And I think the shortest ones I do have would be either Outlast or Daylight. I'm not completely sure how long Daylight is in its entirety, because like I say, I haven't played the whole thing. But I know Outlast is only about 3 or 4 hours long, start to finish. So I might do that. I don't know. Smartest thing to do there. You've got a bomb right there, why would you not disarm it? with those fucking little stupid codey things. That means that if you can open a door, then you can disarm a bomb. Really don't understand it. Even the fact that, even though they do make it more difficult and it is timed and stuff like that, you think there'd just be like a different device. I don't know. I don't really know. I was actually having a chat with a good friend of mine on the way to London last night about the side missions and stuff within this game, and kind of like the downsides of it and stuff like that, and stuff that isn't really explained. So I'll probably talk a little bit about this in this video, to be honest, because while I'm not playing it, and I'm doing the videos on my own, it's difficult for me to kind of spark up conversation. So basically the stuff that was brought into conversation, there's a few different points. Number one, Copperheads, who Ben quite rightly calls Miley Cyrus. When Batman finds out about the assassins' profiles and stuff, her profile says that she is a he. Obviously you go up against her, and he is a she, and you can quite clearly see that she is a she with what she's wearing and stuff like that. But we don't hear about anything else to do with that throughout the rest of the game. So we're just like, what actually is going on with that? Because obviously her profile says that she is a he, but she is a she. So we don't really know what's going on there. Obviously, if you've read the comic books, then you know. But for someone that hasn't read the comic books and they're just playing the games, there is not really any explanation about what really has gone on there. So that's another point. So if you have any kind of input, or if there's anything we've missed within the story that would actually explain that, then stick it in the comments and let us know. Another point that I brought up was the fact that Bane has obviously got some serious beef with Batman. But again, if you haven't read the comic books, then you don't know about it, because he wants to go after Batman regardless of who's hired him. He doesn't want anyone else to be the one to kill Batman. Not because of the money, he just has some kind of thing against Batman. And we don't really know what that is. It's not really explained. So, to be honest, when they brought the DLC out, I thought it was going to be a Bane DLC that would explain kind of what happened to him between him and Batman in the past that makes him hate him so much. But of course it was a Mr. Freeze one. So, like I say, I'm not really sure what's going on in the background between Bane and Batman. Not really sure what's going on there, because he obviously knows a lot about him. And hold on a second, it's Brandine! Just leave him there for a little bit longer. Brandine! What an asshole. Good old Batman. Brandon's an asshole. We all know that. Anyway, yeah, so we don't know what's going on with Bane in the background between him and Batman. That's not really explained. Another thing was, if you've played the other two games, Asylum and City, then you'll know the Scarecrow missions are obviously quite unique to the Scarecrow character, and they're quite unique as levels from any game really, with how he fucks with his head and stuff like that. When obviously I haven't done the side missions in this one, this is going to be just a straight to from the beginning to end, just a normal story walkthrough. We're not going to be doing any side missions, but if you play the Mad Hatter ones, which I'll probably do at some point, I'll probably go through and do the side missions with you guys, and do the DLC and all that kind of stuff. But if you have played the side missions for the Mad Hatter, then you'll know that the missions are kind of like a rip-off version of the Scarecrow's ones. with the whole drugging and going mad and stuff like that. They're not really unique missions, and I thought that was a real shame, because obviously Rocksteady have put all this work into having their gaming engine work perfectly and all their levels work at character per character and stuff like that. And all of a sudden Warner Brothers have taken over, and they've just kind of ripped off their like best leveled character with a different character, which I thought was a bit strange. So yeah, I'm not really, as much as I love the Mad Hatter and I love the involvement he has in the Batman series, I didn't like how similar his levels were to Scarecrow's, and that's kind of like, that was quite a big problem for me during playing the game and doing the other levels. Another thing was, if we go back to Copperhead, in the comic books, and when the game was first advertised, she was supposed to be this strong female character and whatnot, and before you go up against her, you're poisoned, which I thought was really stupid. So obviously, yeah, she's a snake, she uses venom, all that crap, but it kind of made me feel like the only way that Batman could defeat Copperhead, that Copperhead could defeat Batman, was that if he was weakened. And yeah, it's her main weapon, but it just made me feel like if he hadn't been weakened, she wouldn't have stood a chance, which didn't really sit right with me, to be honest. And it was the same with the person that I was talking about. It was actually Vicky, who was our first special guest on the channel. It didn't really sit right with us, because like the Joker and Bane and all that are like the biggest kind of Batman villains and stuff, but the female villains do play a big part in the Batman series, and they kind of, I've never seen them portrayed so weakly before, as they were in this one, which was a bit of a shame, really. But like, aside from the characters and things like that, the game engine itself is so weak compared to the one that Rocksteady use. It's similar. It's like they've tried to make a cheap knockoff of their kind of game engine and the kind of way that they use the games, because it's just, a lot of the time countering doesn't work, and then when you finally master countering, you don't need it, and then downwards attacks don't work, and then when you finally master that, you don't need it because you've got your fucking shock electric gloves. And I was speaking to Vicky about the upgrades, because I've mentioned before, I don't upgrade on this game because I think the tools and weapons you get throughout the game make the game too easy as it is. So I don't upgrade. So when I was talking to Vicky about it, she said, "Oh yeah, I upgraded a few items just to see what they were." And even kind of like the upgrade function, like you get a lot of them by getting combos. You get a lot of the kind of special moves by doing combos. But even a lot of the time, when you get the combo and you're about to activate the move, the actual activation of the special move doesn't actually work, which is weird. I didn't know that before, because like I say, I haven't upgraded any of them, but apparently it's a bit of a pain in the ass to get the special moves to actually work, despite the fact that you've done the combos to get them, which is weird. But I don't know, I think there is a lot wrong with this game. There's not really that much right about it. I just think the reason I enjoyed it so much was because it worked as such a good prequel, and I did enjoy the kind of story behind it. But apart from that, there's not really much I can say in its favour, to be honest. I mean, I love Batman as a character, we know this. I love this game, that is also something that everybody knows. But I love this game because I'm a versatile gaming player, and I appreciate the stories within the games. Like I say, I'm versatile, I'll play anything, but games with a proper story, despite like how the rest of the game is done, if the story is good, then I appreciate how good, I appreciate the game. And I think the story behind this one is actually very good. I just didn't think there was much else that I could really kind of put in its favour, because like I say, the game engine is just a weak version, the level is just a weak version of Rocksteady. So I'm hoping a lot of it's going to be put to right in Arkham Knight. It really needs to. And I'm hoping that Warner Brothers aren't going to try and make another knockoff Batman game, to be honest. I'm hoping it's going to be the end of it. Or if they do, don't call it Arkham, because as much as it works in the story before Asylum, I don't think they should have been able to record this Arkham Origins, because it makes it look like it's part of that series, when in all reality Rocksteady have done an Arkham trilogy and the third game isn't out yet. So when people think, at the moment when people think Rocksteady have done an Arkham trilogy, they count Origins in that, and of course it's not a Rocksteady game, so I'm not really sure why they had the licensing, or why they did what they did and called it Arkham Origins, why they didn't call it something else, but there we go. This part of the game took me so many fucking goes, because like I say, the game engine is so weak that a lot of the time it doesn't pick up anything, and then when you jump, you don't actually jump onto the things that you're supposed to be going for. And that's not, I mean, I've seen a lot of players do it, and it's not kind of like a bad point on the player's part, it's just the game isn't that great at picking things up. I don't think I actually meant to use a concussion detonator there. Even though it worked. I think I was supposed to use the little gun that disables guns, which I still don't understand how it works. I don't get it, but I think that was what I was supposed to use. But to be honest, the concussion detonator came in handy. Smack to the face. Oh yeah, by the way, it is kind of official now that Ben's doing Watch Dogs as his walkthrough. I am not sure whether he's uploaded or whether he's uploading or whatever right now, but that'll be coming onto the channel soon. And to be honest, that's something I'm really looking forward to, because I haven't been able to get it yet, so I haven't played it. When I do get it, I'll probably do a walkthrough through it myself, so we can see the comparison between the Xbox 360 and PS3 generation to the Xbox One and PS4 generation, even though obviously even in the generations there's still kind of usability factors and kind of competition between which console the game actually plays best on. So that's one reason for doing it. Another reason is that on PlayStation 4, it's probably on PlayStation 3 as well, I think it's a PlayStation exclusive, there's like 100 minutes more gameplay or something like that. So that'll be something that we'll probably look into doing when I get the game. It's not going to be for a while, because I've got other games that I've pre-ordered that I need to pay for, and I've got other stuff to pay for and stuff like that. But it's going to be a kind of it'll be a good thing to see the comparison between consoles, and it'll be a good thing to see kind of what else PlayStation have put their money into to get another 100 minutes of gameplay, because obviously they've put more money into it. So it'd be interesting to see what else like that is featured in the game from another 100 minutes, because to be honest, it can't be overly important content, otherwise they would have put it in all the games and it would have needed to complete the game and all that kind of stuff. But it's probably going to be some kind of like backstory and side missions and stuff like that maybe aren't so vital to the main storyline, but are just kind of a bit of fun and maybe just a little bit more informing about the actual story. But like I say, maybe it's probably just not a vital thing that you need. It's fucking keypads. I find the fact that they go red really annoying as well, because when you're like losing time, you're panicking anyway, and it's hard to see the fucking screen as it is because it's all disorientating and like staticky and all that crap. So what do? They go and flash a load of red in it to make it even harder to see when you're already panicking about running out of time. Is bullshit. I don't know why you would do that. It's hard enough as it is. It probably would kill Batman to lighten up a bit. Gordon is such an asshole in this game. Seriously, I never kind of looked at him as an asshole because of all the films that he's been in and stuff. Obviously with what's his face who plays him? I can't remember his name right now. In the Dark Knight trilogy, he's always been a good guy, but I don't know. He just seems like a bit of an asshole in this film, in this game. But it's probably just because he doesn't know who Batman is and all that crap. But I suppose he doesn't know who he is in Batman Begins, because Bruce Wayne isn't Batman till like halfway through Batman Begins. So I don't know. I kind of think sometimes that Warner Brothers made some of these levels like unfairly difficult and just ridiculous. Not levels like this, obviously, but the game in general is like a lot of the kind of mini fights that you do with like the henchmen and the SWAT teams and stuff like that are actually more difficult than the boss fights. And I'm just there like, why is that necessary? You build up to a boss fight. You don't fucking like have a boss fight that is going to be at the end of the day a letdown because you've already put too much difficulty into your mini fights. So that was another thing that me and Vicky were talking about the other last night, actually. The National Guard. I mean, it upsets me the fact how much they use stealth. in this kind of game, because I really like the stealth missions. I think once you start getting good at them, you find they are really good missions to do. But when you do too many of them, they just get so boring, and it makes you look bad because you get bored of them. So you don't do as well because they happen so fucking often. Gordon, you silly man. Electricity and shit. Tell you what, another thing that me and Vicky were talking about last night was kind of like the development that kind of the format that games are going into right now, because obviously you've got your most popular games, like your games that are winning like awards and stuff for graphic content and that kind of stuff. But if you actually look at the most popular games now, I'm going to use The Wolf Among Us as an example, but that is in such high demand on YouTube channels and on, well, everything really. Like, the episodes are in such high demand and they're so kind of like highly anticipated that it makes you wonder where gaming is going now, because I think them kind of games are now a lot more popular than you're at like the games like this, let's say. I mean, I play games because of the stories anyway. I don't play games because of their kind of gaming system or whatever. I like a good story in a game. I've always preferred a story in a game than a story in a film. But it just makes you wonder where it's going, because obviously Telltale are doing The Walking Dead, Game of Thrones, and obviously The Wolf Among Us, and they're the most highly anticipated and kind of highly talked about games at the moment. It just makes you wonder where other games companies are going to be going with their games in the future, and kind of where the gaming industry is actually going to be going with how they put their games across, because games like The Wolf Among Us, they're not games you play, they're games you watch and you make the decisions within them. I'm not that far into The Walking Dead, to be honest, so I'm not sure how much gameplay is actually in that, and I've not played Game of Thrones, so I can't really say anything about that. But it's just something to think about, really. Like, where is the gaming industry going? Is it going to be, are we still going to get games where we actually interact with the characters, or are we just going to be able to just decide what they do and let the scenes play out? But for this video, that is it. There is one more. Like I said before, there's one more Batman video that's pre-recorded, and then we'll be doing live voiceover with gameplay after that. Of course, again, after Metal Gear Solid. So there will be one more Batman video coming up today. There will be 3 Metal Gear Solid videos. And then I'm not sure whether I'm going to do Batman straight away or whether I'm going to start The Walking Dead, depending on what's going to take the most time and stuff like that, because I need to get another game up to replace The Wolf Among Us. So I might get the first episode of Walking Dead up before I move back onto Batman. But I haven't decided yet. And then after, obviously, Metal Gear Solid, I'm going to have to find someone else to do. So if you've got any ideas on what I could do, then let me know. Just put it in the comments on Facebook or on YouTube, or tweet us or something like that. But that's it for this video. I will see you again in the next one, and stay classy, gamers.